Once upon a time, in the vast savanna of Africa, there was a kingdom ruled by a wise and just king. His name was King Tafari, and he was beloved by all his subjects for his fairness and compassion. In this kingdom, there lived a young prince named Jamal. Jamal was the only child of King Tafari and Queen Aisha, and he was known throughout the land for his insatiable appetite. From the moment he woke up until he went to bed, Jamal was constantly eating, indulging in the finest foods and delicacies the kingdom had to offer. As Jamal grew older, his appetite only seemed to increase. He would demand extravagant feasts every day, leaving the kingdom's coffers empty and its people hungry. But King Tafari, blinded by his love for his son, turned a blind eye to Jamal's excesses, hoping that he would one day grow out of his gluttonous ways. But as the years went by, Jamal's behavior only worsened. He became arrogant and entitled, believing that he was entitled to whatever he desired. He cared little for the suffering of his people, as long as his own desires were satisfied. One day, a great famine struck the kingdom. Crops failed and animals died, leaving the land barren and the people starving. Despite the suffering around him, Jamal continued to feast and live in luxury, oblivious to the plight of his people. But as the famine worsened, King Tafari could no longer ignore the suffering of his people. He called upon his advisors and asked for a solution to the crisis. Together, they devised a plan to teach Jamal a lesson he would never forget. Under the cover of night, King Tafari and his advisors disguised themselves as beggars and approached Jamal's palace. They begged for food and shelter, hoping to appeal to Jamal's sense of compassion. But Jamal, in his arrogance, dismissed them without a second thought, ordering his guards to drive them away. Enraged by his son's callousness, King Tafari revealed himself and pronounced a decree. Jamal would be banished from the kingdom until he learned the value of humility and compassion. With a heavy heart, King Tafari watched as his son was escorted out of the kingdom, left to fend for himself in the harsh wilderness. Alone and afraid, Jamal wandered the wilderness, struggling to find food and shelter. He soon realized the folly of his ways as he experienced firsthand the suffering of those he had once ignored. With each passing day, Jamal grew weaker and more desperate until he had nothing left but his own remorse. But just when all hope seemed lost, Jamal stumbled upon a humble village on the outskirts of the kingdom. Despite his past transgressions, the villagers welcomed him with open arms, offering him food and shelter in his time of need. Moved by their kindness, Jamal vowed to change his ways and become a better person. With the help of the villagers, Jamal learned the value of hard work and compassion. He worked in the fields alongside his newfound friends, helping to rebuild the kingdom and restore prosperity to the land. And as he worked, he realized that true happiness could not be found in material wealth or indulgence, but in the bonds of friendship and the satisfaction of helping others. Years passed, and Jamal grew into a wise and compassionate leader in his own right. When the time came for him to return to the kingdom, he did so not as a spoiled prince, but as a humble servant of his people. And under his leadership, the kingdom flourished like never before, united by the principles of kindness, generosity, and empathy. And so, the tale of the spoiled prince who ate too much became a legend in the kingdom, a reminder that true greatness is not measured by wealth or power, but by the goodness of one's heart. And for the generations to come, the story of Jamal served as an inspiration to all who heard it, a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring spirit of humanity.